So you're thinking about moving to Merritt Island, but you're not exactly sure where in Merritt Island you're looking for the best, or even if Merritt Island is the place to be. So today I'm going to do a full map tour of Merritt Island, starting from the most northern corner to the most southern. We're going to go over the different areas, what you can find in those areas, and we're going to get into it right now. But real quick before we do, my name is Rachel Langley. I'm a local real estate agent here actually in Merritt Island. I live in Merritt Island and I love to call Merritt Island my home. If you're looking to move to Merritt Island, make sure you give me a call, text, email, DM me on Instagram, whatever you prefer. Make sure you reach out because I'd love to help you with your relocation needs. All right, let's get started, and I'm going to open up the map and we're going to start from the most northern corner and go all the way down south. All right, so we've got the map of Florida right here, right? And so to give you some perspective, if you're coming from, maybe you don't know anything about Florida, like I did before I moved here. I didn't know anything about Florida except, we would go down to Miami or vacation in Tampa, but didn't know much about the Melbourne, Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach area. So right here is where Merritt Island is. You'll see that it's just southeast of Orlando, and you're gonna take this highway right here to get to Orlando. To actually get to Orlando, it's about an hour, but the airport's actually right east of Orlando. It's only about 45 minutes and it's a straight shot, and I never hit traffic when I go there. So that's always such a benefit of living in Merritt Island or the Space Coast. So Merritt Island is located in Brevard County. It's a pretty long county going all the way from up here, which is Mims, and all the way down to actually Grant and Valkyria, which is kind of down here. And it's all of this. And it's also known as the Space Coast because this is where we launch rockets. So, the big guys like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, well, they've got their companies, SpaceX and Blue Origin down here, along with the Space Force, NASA, and all of that is located in this general area. You might be watching this and actually have a job offer to one of those big companies. So Merritt Island might be a great place to live because it's super close by. All right, so let's zoom in. And so this is Merritt Island right here that I'm circling. And you're gonna see it's actually really long. This is, looking at the county over here, like from a perspective, is actually a very long area per se. So Merritt Island is not an actual city. It's an area that is a part of Brevard County. It's county jurisdiction. One of the best things about that is that the taxes are pretty low compared to other areas or cities that have city taxes, because we don't have a town hall. We don't have city officials that we have to pay for our taxes. We have the county officials. So let's zoom in, and we're going to start in North Merritt Island. So if you have a job offer, maybe you're going to be working at Kennedy Space Center, or maybe you're going to be working at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station right here. Both of these areas are kind of where a lot of the aerospace industries and defense industries are. And so Kennedy Space Center is located in North Merritt Island. Over here is the Merritt Island Refuge, and that is a really beautiful area. But I will say you actually cannot access it from Merritt Island unless you are visiting the Kennedy Space Center and taking a bus tour. You can see it a little bit when you do that, but otherwise a lot of this area is restricted access because it's where they do their rocket building and rocket launching. And then, so you actually have to go all the way up here to access the Merritt Island Refuge. But other than that, it's still not too bad of a drive. It's about 25 minutes, half hour, and it's a beautiful area. But let's go back to North Merritt Island. So over here is generally where the housing will be over all of this area. So it's considered probably the most rural area of Merritt Island. So you're going to find more acreage, so you can get a house on an acre or two. Over here, a lot more prevalently. You'll see a lot more green. There's a lot more area, and it is one of the only areas that there is still room to develop, which not a lot of people necessarily love that. We want to keep our forests and our nature still in that area, but there are 3 new construction companies in this area. They're the only new construction in Merritt Island. So if you're interested in new construction in Merritt Island, we could look at Island Forest Preserve, which is kind of like up here in this area. So it's kind of further out from the more downtown area of Merritt Island. And then there's also Egret's Landing. They're doing their final phase there. So they have more of a developed neighborhood, and then they're doing their final phase. And then you also have Armand Groves kind of over here. So kind of the closest new construction neighborhood to more of downtown Merritt Island is going to be located over here. So over here is Mitchell Ellington Park kind of over here, and that's a big park. There's all your ball fields, your tennis, softball, baseball. There's walking trails, there's pavilions. It's a really nice big park to go to if you live over by this area. And also they do host a farmers market kind of over here at Crisafulli Farms. It's weekly, it's really nice, and a lot of the proceeds actually go towards standing against human trafficking. I love going there, a couple weekends a month. And then going down, you're gonna see this. This is actually A1A, so this is called the Beach Line. Going all the way west is going to take you into Orlando, and then going all the way east will take you up to Cape Canaveral, and it extends all the way south into Melbourne Beach. And so this is A1A, and then right over here is a barge canal. So it is a bridge that comes up when boats need to pass. And so it's just important to know it's there. It's not necessarily, I don't live over there, so I've only been stuck at it a handful of times. It hasn't really affected me, but some people do complain about it if they live in that neighborhood. So, if you are someone who has to commute for work, or you're on the go a lot and can't be late, it can make you about 5-10 minutes late occasionally when it goes up. Okay, moving on. So over here is Central Merritt Island, and this is going to be where most of the shopping is. So we've got Targets, we've got restaurants. There's a bunch of different restaurants. My favorite breakfast places is called Gecko. There's an Asian fusion restaurant called Pacific Rim. Every time I go there, it is so busy, but it's really good food. And you've got your auto zones, you've got kind of a lot of things that you need, just the essentials over here. And there are also a lot of residential neighborhoods in here as well. It's probably one of the most populated areas as far as density population is in this area. And also you'll see if you live in a home right here, there is some condos kind of over here too. You're gonna have direct river access to the Indian River, which is the Intracoastal. And then on the right-hand side, you're gonna have access to Sykes Creek. In the middle of this area right here is called the Ulame Wildlife Sanctuary. It's a really beautiful area. They have trails. They have like a nice little fishing dock. It's a really nice area to bird watch. The last time I was there, I was getting some shots for these videos, getting some drone shots, and some dolphins came by, and it was really pretty. So it's a nice area. And then on the right over here is called, it's off North Banana Drive neighborhood, because the road over here is called North Banana Drive. And over here, the same thing, you have direct river access on this side to the Banana River. In here, there are some canals that will lead you to Sykes Creek that you come out over here. It's really important to know that if you are planning to purchase a canal front home, that you understand there are some bridge restrictions, especially in this area over here. So if you have a hard top, T-top in some of these areas, you won't be able to pass your boat through. So it's just really important to understand that. But anything that's obviously direct river access is great. It's super easy. You can just go right over here and then go out of the Port Canaveral locks and into the ocean in about 20 minutes, depending on what you have to, the wait time for the locks. And so if you are over here though, you could be looking at about 45 minutes to an hour, because Sykes Creek is a no wake zone. And then going back to North Banana Drive, very residential over here. There are two parks over here. There's Kelly Park East and Kelly Park West. Kelly Park East is over here, and they have access to drop your boat into the river. And then the Kelly Park West has your ball fields, tennis courts, playgrounds, pavilions, and it's a nice place. There are some really nice neighborhoods over here. We have a little bit like newer construction, like 2010s to 2015s, and then we do have older homes as well. You'll find a mix of anywhere starting in the 1960s and up. Moving down, we have Newfound Harbor over here, and then you do have access to the Central Merritt Island area right here to A1A as well. So if you're commuting a lot, need to get into Orlando a lot, it's really easy. Okay, and then you'll see this road right here is 520. And that's also that's a busy main road. It's not necessarily like highway style, but it is a fast road. And that, if you live over here, it's really nice if you want to get to the beach. It takes about 10-15 minutes to get to the beach over here. And this is Cocoa Beach, and then over here is Cape Canaveral. Cape Canaveral, at the end of every street that has access to the ocean, has free parking. So that's what I use. I just go to Cape Canaveral, it's free. And then going back, so over here is Newfound Harbor. It is all residential. We've got a Tesla dealership right there. We do have Walmart across the street right over here. And then, yeah, all of Newfound Harbor over here is residential, and there's a lot of waterfront property. As you go down south to the most tip, the houses get a lot bigger and more luxurious. But lots of little neighborhoods in here, and from any size, starting at the 350,000s, 300,000s, all the way up to 2 million. Waterfront big properties. So if you live about halfway, it's really easy. It's still a quick drive to get onto the 520 and get around. If you live more south, just to count for that, it's going to be like an extra 10 minutes just to drive all the way down. So if you're one of those people that just don't like to drive a lot, that might be annoying if you're more south, but some people don't mind, some people do. Now we are going to, so along 520 right here is another area with a lot of shops. So like I said, Walmart's right over here. And then down here more, we've got, Starbucks, we've got Publix, we've got the Merritt Island Mall, which has a movie theater. It has Chick-fil-A. It's got it's got the Macy's, JCPenney's, the big box stores. It's a 1960s mall, so it definitely needs some revitalization, but it still gets, the job done when you need to go shopping. There's an awesome Mexican restaurant in there called Margarita Island. It's actually my favorite Mexican restaurant in Merritt Island, in the county, actually. Great margaritas. And what else? They're actually putting up a Chipotle right by the mall as well. So if you're like me and love Chipotle, we're getting one finally. And there's also a Wawa going in there, which is like a really famous gas station. People really like the food there. People say that, I've never tried them, but people love the Wawa sandwiches. So if you love the Wawa sandwiches and you are watching this, let me know in the comments below, because I still haven't tried any. And then down more, like I said, we have a Publix, we've got UPS store, we've got a TJ Maxx. If you're a TJ Maxxaholic like me, you'll love it. It is a little bit more of a smaller TJ Maxx if you want more of like a home goods TJ Maxx. If you want more of a larger home goods TJ Maxx, it's just like a 25-minute drive to Vieira, where you can find that. And then also they have an open air mall there, which is really fancy and has everything you need there too. And going back to Merritt Island, now we are going to what's called South Tropical Drive area, which is this long peninsula over here. So it's all residential. You're gonna have very luxurious properties, waterfront properties, over $1 million properties, but there are also some more affordable homes in here as well, mostly in this general area. You've got the Merritt Island Airport right there. That's just a small airplane airport. There is a new condo complex over here. It's a river fly-in complex. So if you do have like a smaller plane and are looking for an area to have a hangar and then live right close by, they do have an option for that, and it's new construction. It should be done soon. And yeah, there's more affordable, lower priced. There's more affordable housing over here, and then as you go down further, the houses get bigger and more expensive. So if you kind of live halfway over here, you might actually find yourself more ending up in Melbourne, because you'll see if you drive this way and then into Melbourne over here, it's almost like in the middle. You're equal distance to Merritt Island and Melbourne. So just depends on your preference, but just understand this is kind of like where I was saying over here in Newfound Harbor. If you live halfway, you kind of feel like it's a lot more drive time. Over here, you're gonna feel that times 3. So just know that when you're kind of like at this point right here, you kind of have to do a lot of driving over here. It's a 1-lane road. It's usually 45 miles per hour. Sometimes you get stuck behind a really slow person. Sometimes you get stuck behind, or you have someone stuck behind you that wants to go faster and they pass you. But it is a 1-lane road. So Just know that if you're kind of wanting to live over here, it's a lot more secluded. You've got to drive into Melbourne. And then over here is the Pineda Causeway. And so if you're working at Patrick Space Force Base, you're probably going to either, drive home through A1A and then go over here or over here. Or you're gonna come out, because the main gate's over here, you're gonna go down Pineda and then go take South Tropical Trail all the way home and then wherever you live over here. And then, so you have Pineda right here, which goes into Melbourne. And then down here is still part of Merritt Island. It's called Dragon Point. And it is, again, a very bigger home, waterfront property, more luxurious area over here. It's very secluded. You're probably gonna find yourself going into Melbourne. Merritt Island is gonna be too far to get, groceries. So you're gonna be finding yourself either going into Melbourne over here or Satellite Beach over here. Fun story, I mentioned this in another video, but we used to have a dragon at the end of the point that a local artist back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, I forget, she made a dragon on the rock and it was pretty famous. It was destroyed a few years ago in a hurricane, but the new owner of the property has plans to revitalize it. So hopefully someday we'll get a dragon back in Dragon Point. All right, so that's it for the map tour today. If you have any questions about Merritt Island, either comment below or reach out to me. You can call, text, email me, DM me, or click that link, that Calendly link, and you can actually schedule a time based off my availability and your availability already. I love living in Merritt Island. I'm a huge advocate of it. It's one of those places where you feel like you're living, in a beach community. You are surrounded by water all the time. It's gorgeous, but you're not necessarily paying for beachside community prices. You can get a little bit more bang for your buck for that. And the people are nice. You have everything you need, and it's just a great place to live. So like I said, reach out to me if you have any questions. I love helping families relocate to the area. I also work all over the Space Coast. So if you're not sure exactly where you want to end up, I can help you even in Melbourne, Titusville, Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, wherever you're thinking, make sure you reach out. My name is Rachel. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.